Buying property overseas can feel really intimidating, especially when you don't fully know the rules. If you're a foreigner thinking about buying a property in Malaysia, specifically here in Johor, this video is going to save you a lot of confusions and keep you from spending months looking at the wrong properties. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what type of property foreigners can buy here, the price threshold and requirements you need to meet, and a very important rule for Singapore HDB owners that most people will only find out when it's too late. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, don't be surprised, not every property in Malaysia is available to foreigner buyers. There are 3 specific types of house you cannot purchase regardless of your budget. Number 1, Malay Reserve Land Housing. Number 2, Bumi Lots, which are reserved for native locals, including the Malays, Orang Asli, Sabahan, and Sarawakians. And we have low-cost housing like Prima units or any government-subsidized house designed exclusively for Malaysian citizens. Anything outside of those 3 categories is generally available to foreigner buyers, as long as it meets the price guidelines set by the state. Each state in Malaysia actually have its own minimum purchase price for foreigner buyers. So the rules here in Johor may be quite different from Kuala Lumpur or Penang. In Johor, this is how it works. For landed properties like terrace houses, semi-detached homes, and bungalows, the minimum purchase price for foreigners is 1 million ringgit. For high-rise units though, like condo and apartments, the default minimum is also 1 million ringgit. But here is how it gets interesting. For a certain state-approved new projects, can have a lower minimum, as low as 400,000 to 500,000. And in recent years, you can actually find more projects with low entry requirements in around Johor Bahru city centre area. This is actually part of the state's government strategy to attract foreigner investment and grow the population in the specific development zones. Given how strong Johor economic momentum is right now, it's honestly quite an exciting opportunity for foreigner buyers who knows where to look. If you're interested to know which projects are qualified for foreigner buyers under 1 million ringgit, click the link down in the description. I'll share the full list with you. You know, this is the great thing about Malaysia. All nationalities are allowed to purchase property in Malaysia, even freehold land housing. But there are 2 types of buyer who cannot proceed. And the first one is specifically for Singaporeans and Singapore PRs. If you currently own a HDB flat in Singapore and live in it for less than 5 years, you are technically not allowed to purchase any residential property overseas, including here in Johor. This is called the MOP, Minimum Occupation Period. If you default, HDB can actually force acquire your flat and you can lose your primary home. However, for commercial properties like shop lots, office suites, Soho units, and industrial properties are completely fine. This MOP restriction, right, is actually not flagged in Malaysia. So the developers, lawyers, or even agents, they won't fact check your HDB status. So that responsibility sits entirely with you. Now, let me share with you, just last week, there is a prospect came to me who is still under HDB MOP, asked if there is a way to work around to get a property here in Johor. Example, he is looking to register the property under the Malaysian mom's name while he joint loan as a co-borrower, planning to transfer the title back to himself later on or pass it through inheritance. This is quite important. Let me explain that now because I want you to understand the real risk involved. In Malaysia, banks do allow what's called third-party loan arrangement, whereby the property owner and the loan borrowers are different individuals. That is perfectly legal over here in Malaysia. But here's the issue. HDB MOP rules states that you cannot hold any interest in a private residential property, local or overseas, during those 5 years. So by signing into a joint loan for an overseas residential property, you're basically taking on a full legal and financial liability for that mortgage. And if HDB audits your finances, they can argue that you are funding the purchase now with the intention to take over the ownership later on and treat it as a proxy purchase. As a result, your HDB flat could be repossessed, so it's important to understand the risk before you sign anything. The second type of buyer who cannot proceed is pretty straightforward. Loan buyers with credit score issues. If you have outstanding repayment issue, defaults, or you are blacklisted in any shape and form, you won't be able to secure a loan approval from a Malaysian bank. In the next video, I'm going to break down the actual numbers, exactly how much upfront cost you need to prepare when buying as a foreigner here in Johor. That includes state levy, legal fees, stamp duty, including a real lawyer's invoice on screen. That is definitely the video most foreigner buyers wish they had watched before they sign anything. If you found this useful, like and subscribe to the channel for more Johor property guides. And if you have a question, drop it in the comments. My name is Dylan, your guide to the right homes in Johor. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!